After these things, God tested Abraham. He said to him, "Abraham." And he answered, "Here I am." He said, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Yitzhak, and go to the land of Moriah. There you are to offer him as a burnt offering on a mountain that I will point out to you." Abraham got up early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, together with Yitzhak, his son. He took the wood for the burnt offering, departed, and went toward the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham raised his eyes and saw the place in the distance. Abraham said to his young men, "Stay here with the donkey. I and the boy will go there, worship, and return." Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and laid it on Yitzhak his son. Then he took in his hand the fire and the knife, and they both went on together. Yitzhak spoke to Abraham his father. "My father." He answered, "Here I am, my son." He said, "I see the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham replied, "God will provide himself the lamb for a burnt offering, my son." And they both went on together. They both came to the place God had told him about, and Abraham built the altar there, set the wood in order, bound Yitzhak his son, and laid him on the altar, on the wood. Then Abraham put out his hand and took the knife to kill his son. But the angel of Adonai called to him out of heaven, "Abraham, Abraham!" He answered, "Here I am." He said, "Don't lay your hand on the boy. Don't do anything to him. For now I know that you are a man who fears God, because you have not withheld your son, your only son, for me." Abraham raised his eyes and looked, and behind him was a ram caught in the bushes by its horns. Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering in the place of his son. Abraham called the place Adonai Yireh. The Lord will see it to it. The Lord provides. As it is said to this day, on the mountain Adonai is seen. The angel of Adonai called to Abraham a second time out of heaven. He said, "I have sworn by myself, says Adonai, that because you have done this, because you haven't withheld your son, your only son, I will most certainly bless you. And I will most certainly increase your descendants to as many as there are stars in the skies or grains of sea on the seashore. Your descendants will possess the cities of your enemies, and by your descendants all the nations of the earth will be blessed, because you obeyed my order." So Abraham returned to his young men. They got up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham settled in Beersheba. Afterward, Abraham was told, Milcah too has borne children to your brother Nahor. Utz, his firstborn, Buz, his brother, Kemuel, the father of Aram, Kasid, Hazah, Pildash, Yidlaf, and Bethuel. Bethuel fathered Rivkah, Rebekah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. His concubine, whose name was Reumah, bore children also, Tivach, Gecham, Tachash, and Maacah. Sarah lived to be 127 years old. These were the years of Sarah's life. Sarah died in Kiryat Arba, also known as Hebron, in the land of Canaan, and Abraham came to mourn Sarah and weep for her. Then he got up from his dead one and said to the sons of Het, "I am a foreigner living as an alien with you. Let me have a burial site with you, so that I can bury my dead wife." The sons of Het answered Abraham, "Listen to us, my lord. You are a prince of God among us, so choose any of our tombs to bury your dead. Not one of us would refuse you his tomb for burying your dead." Abraham got up, bowed before the people of the land, the sons of Het, and spoke with them. "If it is your desire to help me bury my dead, then listen to me. Ask Ephron, the son of Zohar, to give me the cave of Machpelah, which he owns, the one at the end of his field. He should sell it to me in your presence at its full value. Then I will have a burial site of my own. Ephron and Hitti was sitting among the sons of Het, and he gave Abraham his answer in the presence of the sons of Het who belonged to the ruling council of the city. No, my lord, listen to me. I'm giving you the field with its cave. I'm giving it to you. In the presence of my people, I give it to you. Abraham bowed before the people of the land and spoke to Ephron in their hearing. Please, be good enough to listen to me. I will pay the price of the field. Accept it from me. I will bury my dead there. But Ephron answered Abraham, My lord, listen to me. A plot of land worth 400 silver shekel. What is that between me and you? Just bury your dead. Abraham got the point of what Ephron had said. So he weighed out for Ephron the amount of money he had specified in the presence of his son of Het. 400 silver shekels of the weight accepted among merchants, 10 pounds. Thus, the field of Ephron in Machpelah, which is in Mamre, the field, its cave, and all the trees in and around it were deeded to Abraham as his possession in the presence of the sons of Het, who belonged to the ruling council of the city. Then Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave in the field of Machpelah by Mamre, also known as Hebron, in the land of Canaan. The field and its cave has been purchased by Abraham for the sons of Het as a burial site, which would belong to him. By now Abraham was old and advanced in years, and Adonai had blessed Abraham in everything. Abraham said to the servant, Who has served him the longest? Who was in charge of all he owned? Put your hand under my thigh, because I want you to swear by Adonai, God of heaven and God of earth, that you will not choose a wife for my son from among the women of the Canaanite, among whom I am living, but that you will go to my homeland, to my kinsmen, to choose a wife for my son Yitzhak. The servant replied, Suppose the woman isn't willing to follow me to this land. Must I then bring your son back to the land which you came? Abraham said to him, See to it that you don't bring my son back there. Adonai, the God of heaven, who took me away from my father's house and away from the land I was born in, who spoke to me and swore to me, I will give you this land to your descendants. He will send his angel ahead of you, and you are to bring a wife for my son from there. But if the woman is unwilling to follow you, then you are released from your obligation under my oath. Just don't bring my son back there. The servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and swore to him concerning the matter. Then the servant took 10 of his master's camels and all kinds of gifts from the master, got up and went to Aram Naharaim, to Nachor's city. Toward evening, when the women go out to draw water, he had the camels kneel down outside the city by the well. He said, Adonai, God of my master Abraham, please let me succeed today and show your grace to my master Abraham. Here I am, standing by the spring. As the daughters of the townfolk come out to draw water, I will say to one of the girls, Please lower your jug so that I can drink. If she answers, Yes, drink, I will water your camels as well. Then let her by the one you intend for your servant Yitzhak. This is how I will know that you have shown grace to my master. Before he had finished speaking, Rivkah, the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nachor, Abraham's brother, came out with her jug on her shoulder. The girl was very beautiful, a virgin, never having had sexual relations with any man. She went down to the spring, filled her jug, and came up. The servant ran to meet her and said, Please, give me a sip of water from your jug to drink. Drink, my lord, she replied, and immediately lowered her jug onto her arm and let him drink. When she was through letting him drink, she said, I will also draw water for your camels until they have drunk their full. she quickly emptied her jug into the trough, then ran again to the well to drink water, and kept on drawing water for all his camels. The man gazed at her in silence, waiting to find out whether Adonai had made his trip successful or not. When the camels were done drinking, the man took a gold nose ring weighing 1/5 of an ounce and 2 gold bracelets weighing 4 ounces and asked, "Whose daughter are you? Tell me, please. Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night?" She answered, "I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, born to Nachor," adding, "We have plenty of straw and fodder and room for staying overnight." The man bowed his head and prostrated himself before Adonai. Then he said, "Blessed be Adonai, God of my master Abraham, who has not abandoned his faithful love for my master, because Adonai has guided me to the house of my master's kinsman." The girl ran off and told her mother's household what had happened. Rivkah had a brother named Laban. When he saw the nose ring and the bracelets of his sister's wrists besides, and when he heard his sister Rivkah's report of what the man had said to her, he ran out to the spring and found the man standing there by the camels. "Come on in," he said. "You whom Adonai has blessed, why are you standing outside when I have made room in my house and prepared a place for the camels?" So the man went out inside, and while the camels were being unloaded and provided straw and fodder, water was brought for him to wash his feet and the feet of the men with him. But when the meal was set before him, he said, "I won't eat until I say what I have to say." Laban said, "Speak." He said, "I am Abraham's servant. Adonai has greatly blessed my master, so that he has grown wealthy. He has given him flocks and herds, silver and gold, male and female slaves, camels and donkeys. Sarah, my master's wife, bore my master a son when she was old, and he has given him everything he has. My master made me swear, saying, 'You are not to choose a wife for my son from among the women of Canaani, among whom I am living. Rather, you are to go to my father's house, to my kinsman, to choose a wife for my son.' I said to my master, 'Suppose the woman isn't willing to follow me?' Abraham answered me, Adonai, in whose presence I live, will send his angel with you to make your trip successful. And you are to pick a wife for my son from my kinsman in my father's house. This will release you from your obligation under my oath. But if, when you come to my kinsman, they refuse to give her to you, this too will I release you from my oath. So today I came to the spring and said, Adonai, God of my master Abraham, if you are causing my trip to succeed in its purpose, then here I am standing by the spring. I will say to one of the girls, come out and draw water. Let me have a sip of water from your jug. If she answers, yes, drink, I will water your camels as well, then let her be the woman you intend for my master's son. And even before I had finished speaking in my heart, there came Rivkah, going out with her jug, and on her shoulder she went down to the spring and drew water. When I said to her, please let me have a drink, she immediately lowered the jug from her shoulders and said, drink, and I will water your camels as well. So I drank, and she had the camels drink too. I asked her, whose daughter are you? And she answered, the daughter of Bethuel, son of Nachor, whom Milcah bore to him. Then I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her wrists, bowed my head and prostrated myself before Adonai, and blessed Adonai, God of my master Abraham, for having led me in the right way to obtain my master's brother's granddaughter for his son. So now if your people intend to show grace and truth to my master, tell me, but if not, tell me so that I can turn elsewhere. Laban and Bethuel replied, since this comes from Adonai, we can't say anything to you, either bad or good. Rivkah is here in front of you. Take her and go. Let her be your master's son's wife, as Adonai has said. When Abraham's servant heard what they said, he prostrated himself on the ground to Adonai. Then the servant brought out silver and gold jewelry, together with clothing, and gave them to Rivkah. He also gave valuable gifts to his brother and mother. He and his men ate and drank and stayed the night. In the morning they got up, and he said, "Send me off to my master." Her brother and mother said, "Let the girl stay with us a few days, at least 10. After that she will go." He answered them, "Don't delay me, since Adonai has made my trip successful, but let me go back to my master." They said, "We can call the girl and see what she says." They called Rivkah and asked her, "Will you go with this man?" And she replied, "I will." So they sent their sister Rivkah away with her nurse. Abraham's servant and his men, they blessed Rivkah with these words, "Our sister, may you be the mother of millions, and may your descendants possess the cities of those who hate them." Then Rivkah and her maids mounted the camels and followed the man. So the servant took Rivkah and went on his way. Meanwhile, Yitzhak, one evening after coming along the road of Ber Lechroi, he was living in the Negev, went out walking in the field. As he looked up, he saw camels approaching. Rivkah too looked up, and when she saw Yitzhak, she quickly dismounted the camel. She said to the servant, "Who is this man walking in the field to meet us?" When the servant replied, "It's my master," she took her veil and covered herself. The servant told Yitzhak everything he had done. Then Yitzhak brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rivkah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. Thus was Yitzhak comforted for the loss of his mother.